Welcome to another deep dive. Imagine, a time before our modern medicine, when healers looked really closely at the natural world for remedies, often a fascinating mix of intuition and some real precision. Today, we're unlocking a pretty peculiar chapter from William Boericke's homeopathic Materia Medica. We're exploring a unique substance, Castoreum canadense, or, as it's more commonly known, the beaver.
Yes, and it's quite remarkable how these old texts, they function like detailed catalogs. They list all these perceived effects from natural substances. So our mission today really is to uncover the specific conditions this particular remedy was thought to address. We want to give you a clear picture of this historical medical perspective, but without getting bogged down in jargon or complexity.
Okay, let's open this up then. This sounds fascinating. What was the very first thing Boericke's Materia Medica highlighted about Castoreum canadense?
Well, right away, the text flags it as, and I quote, a great remedy for hysteria. And it specifically notes prostration marked.
Prostration marked. That's quite a statement. And hysteria, that word itself brings up questions, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. That brings up a really important point. The term hysteria back in Boericke's time, well, it was a very broad diagnosis. Often quite vague, honestly, especially applied to women. It covered a huge range of neurological, psychological symptoms, often where there wasn't a clear physical cause they could identify.
So, a historical label, kind of a catch all for a whole set of symptoms. And the text gets surprisingly specific about how this hysteria showed up, right?
Oh, definitely. The source details a whole range of these hysterical symptoms. Things like day blindness, which meant an inability to endure light.
Okay.
And it describes nervous women who do not recover fully but are continually irritable and suffer from debilitating sweats.
Debilitating sweats.
Yeah, if you connect this to how they understood things, then it points to conditions of really intense nervous agitation and physical exhaustion, often cropping up after some other illness.
Right? Like they just couldn't bounce back fully. And it really paints a vivid picture. I think it also mentions spasmodic affections after debilitating diseases.
Yes, exactly. Spasmodic affections plus constant yawning, and get this, restless sleep with frightful dreams and starts.
Wow. That sounds like a really deeply unsettling state for the patient, just constant agitation.
It does. And this attention to tiny details, it's such a hallmark of the Materia Medica tradition.
Right.
Where even really minute observations of symptoms were absolutely crucial for picking the right remedy. It's all about matching a very specific patient picture to the substance profile.
So beyond these more, let's say, generalized nervous symptoms, it goes into some incredibly precise physical signs too. What's an example of that granular detail you mentioned?
It's actually quite striking. For instance, the tongue is described as swollen. Okay, but then it adds with a very particular rounded elevation size of a pea in center.
Size of a pea.
Yes, size of a pea in the center, withdrawing sensation from center to hyoid bone. That level of scrutiny, it just shows this profound focus on observable physical signs.
That's incredible.
Which they then linked somehow to the internal state. It really makes you wonder how they measured or observed something quite that specific, like a pea-sized elevation.
That's almost microscopic observation.
Yeah.
Amazing. And the Materia Medica also dedicates a section specifically to female conditions. What applications did it list there?
It gets into very specific symptoms again. For dysmenorrhea, that's painful menstruation.
Okay.
It notes blood discharged in drops with tenesmus. Now, tenesmus, that's a sort of straining sensation, often linked to bowel or bladder issues, and specifically where the pain commences in the middle of thighs. Not just pain, but pain starting there.
Right, the location matters.
Exactly. It also covers amenorrhea, the absence of menstruation, with painful tympanites, which is that uncomfortable abdominal bloating from gas.
So again, it's not just the condition, like amenorrhea, but the specific way it presents itself in that person. The text also mentions fever symptoms. How did Castoreum canadense fit in with fever?
Well, the main fever symptom described is predominant chilliness, and also attacks of chilliness with ice coldness in back.
Ice coldness in the back.
Yes, which kind of fits the overall picture we've been seeing, right? That sense of debility, exhaustion, and nervous system disturbance.
Yeah, it seems consistent. Now, this brings us to a really critical part of understanding these remedies, how they were sort of categorized and understood next to others. The Materia Medica includes relationship notes. What does that tell us about Castoreum canadense's place?
Right. Those relationships are key. They give you insight into how practitioners thought about different remedies interacting or maybe having similar effects or being useful in sequence.
Okay,
So, Castoreum canadense is compared with ambra, mossis, myrrh acid, and valeriana. These were other substances often used for nervous conditions too.
interesting comparison points.
And significantly, there's an antidote listed, culch, culchcum. This suggests, a substance believed to counteract the remedy's effects if they were too strong or unwanted, like a historical undo button in a way.
A counteragent. Got it. And finally, what about the actual prescribed dose? How is it supposed to be administered?
The text is brief on that. It just notes the dose as tincture and lower potencies.
Tincture and lower potencies.
Yeah. So in homeopathy, a tincture is basically an alcoholic extract of the substance. And potencies refer to these serial dilutions, which is, a core principle of homeopathic practice, often highly diluted preparations.
Okay, so we've really taken a fascinating deep dive here into Castoreum canadense, a historical homeopathic remedy, incredibly derived from the beaver.
Mhm.
We've seen how it was documented with such meticulous detail, not just for broad conditions like hysteria, which, as you explained, we have to understand in its historical context as this wide-ranging nervous disorder, but also for these incredibly precise physical signs, like that pea-sized bump on the tongue and very specific female and fever symptoms.
Yeah, what really stands out, I think, is that sheer specificity in describing the symptoms and linking them to the remedies in these old texts. It just underscores a whole different way of observing and cataloging how the body responds. A system really built on detailed symptom matching.
This deep dive truly makes you think, doesn't it? When you consider the source, the beaver, this creature we associate with industry, resilience, maybe unique biological adaptations, and it's chosen for a remedy targeting prostration and nervous weakness. What does that reveal about that old blend of, well, natural observation, maybe symbolic thinking, and early medical theory that shaped these historical healing practices? And maybe how does that intricate symptom focused approach differ from our perhaps more mechanism focused scientific quest for remedies today?